Hi, I'm Chris Stead, gaming expert at finder.com.au, and today we're going to be comparing the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. So, fact! The next generation console from Microsoft is called Xbox, just Xbox. And there are two different types of models of Xbox. There is the Series S, the cheaper, reduced powered version, and the Series X, the premium model, packing all that goodness inside. Now, it doesn't take Einstein to work out which one is which when you just take a look at them. The Xbox Series X is a beast of a machine. Not as big as the PlayStation 5, but very, very solid, large box. I love it. It's a great console. The Series S, far different. Looks a bit like a speaker when you look at it from this perspective, but much smaller, much lighter, and the reason it is because it just doesn't have the same power. Now, the power difference between the two consoles is significant. We're talking about 12 teraflops worth of power in the Xbox Series X and just 4 in the Xbox Series S. It's quite a substantial difference, and it matters when you're playing games. Here, you're looking at getting 4K, even 8K resolution and frame rates up to 120 frames per second. Mostly 60 frames per second at 4K if you're lucky, 30 occasionally. But these can play games at the highest frame rates and at the high resolutions as of 2020. The Xbox Series S, on the other hand, cannot handle that. The reason is because it's got a far less powerful GPU, much less RAM to play with as well, much memory that is. So this can only play games in 1440p, which is only slightly above HD really, or HD effectively. But what it can do is hold those at a consistent frame rate. So you will get up to 120 frames per second, although I don't think that's going to happen too often. With this console, you just won't get it at a high resolution. So it'll play fast, but it won't play beautifully. Now Xbox has said, or Microsoft has said, that this will continue to have the big next-gen visual flourishes the same as this, including like ray tracing and HDR elements like that. However, we're already starting to see some third parties drop that support because they cannot get it to function at the required resolution and frame rate on this machine. Obviously, these are not problems you have with the Xbox Series X. Technically though, they can both play the same games, which I guess is the important fact here, is that Microsoft is trying to get gamers into the next generation gaming with an entry-level computer that costs a fair bit cheaper. Here in Australia, the difference is $750 versus $499, which is a substantial difference, but you do get a huge hit to the performance of those games. On top of that, the Xbox Series S only has 330 gigabyte hard drive once the operating system's installed, and that's not going to hold very many next generation games. So even if you do go the cheaper route and get this, you're going to have to be buying a brand new expansion storage card, that's a hard drive storage card for the back of the machine, to bump that size back up to another 1 terabyte very soon, and that's going to cost you another $350 to $400. Now, I have already done an extensive review of the Xbox Series X. You can watch the video for that on YouTube, or you can check the finder.com.au website and read the full detailed analysis there. This is a really, really powerful machine, but you may be wondering, what is the point of the Xbox Series S then? Like, why does it exist other than being a lower entry point? And look, I've got question marks around that as well. You know, if you don't have the latest television set, if you've got televisions 4, 5, 6 years old and can't really play those great frame rates, and play those high resolutions, then you're not going to really notice the difference anyway. That's one reason. If you're not going to upgrade your TV, if you're not going to upgrade your soundbar or your home theater system, then you're not going to see the qualities of this fully shine. So therefore, you may be able to save some money and just go this. However, it's a short-term solution. Likely you will upgrade your TV sometime in the next 7 years, in which case this is going to start feeling obsolete and you're going to want to wish you'd stepped up to this. The other big thing that stands in this console's favour is if you're a family. If you're parents and you're buying a console for your young children, they really want a next generation console to play games on, and you just don't want to spend the $750. The kids may not be worth an 8K resolution quality system. They may not be worth 120 frames a second at 4K. They may not be worth that to you. My kids aren't worth it to me. So I might start looking at a console like this, which allows them to play the latest next generation games. It doesn't cost them an arm and leg to do so. In Xbox's favour in this regard is the Game Pass Ultimate subscription service, which is effectively a Netflix for games, where you have a library of titles, over 150 titles, including all the latest blockbusters from Microsoft's first-party studios, a lot of big third-party games, quality indies as well, which you can access for a flat monthly fee here in Australia of $15.95 a month, but that's roughly the same as a mid-tier Netflix subscription cost. and you can then play any of those games that you want at any point without paying any additional money. That's pretty alluring to parents who know that they can get a machine that's sub $500, get access to that full library, and still be able to play the next generation games. That is where this console starts to come into its own. But when I'm talking about the Xbox Series S, I'd be remiss not to mention PlayStation 5's second tier model to console, which is called the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, because that doesn't reduce the power at all. It just takes away the optical drive. The Xbox Series S also takes away the optical drive. So it's a like for like there. However, with the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, you still get all that next gen power. The full 10 teraflops that system offers are in the box. Whereas here, it drops down to 4 teraflops and you get the aforementioned issues in terms of the quality of gaming as a result. You also get the reduced hard drive in this. You don't get the reduced hard drive size in the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. Now, there is a price difference. The Xbox Series S in Australia is $499 and the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition in Australia is $599. So there's $100 more expense to get that machine, but really, that's a minimal upgrade in price for a much more high level quality next generation console. And that may put some people off getting the Xbox Series S. But I must stress, you cannot get Xbox Games Pass with the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition or the PlayStation 5 itself. So it's an Xbox exclusive service, and therefore you won't be able to get that ongoing cost benefit of being able to subscribe to a video games library. Right, so should you get an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S? Like I said, if you've got money to spend, I know which one I'd be getting. This one, on the other hand, potentially a perfect fit for families who just cannot handle their kids arguing and moaning about needing a next generation console and just need to get in. Then potentially the Xbox Series S with a Game Pass Ultimate subscription is the way to go. Of course, if you'd like to read more on both of these consoles, look at all the games that are available, check out some more videos, and indeed read up on the competition in the PlayStation 5, make sure you check the finder.com.au website. Other than that, get into some gaming.